Leah, can you hear me today?
What was
Oh, you can hear me. Okay, great. You can hear me.
Yep, totally.
Hi. So my friend / colleague Marian is joining. She's also at TR.
We are all over her. She's here. I gave her the warning not to worry about jumping in on this class. I told her.
Okay, you've met her. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Thank you for the introduction, and we're excited. Yes. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to. So we are technically on the second stage of this painting, of painting this model. Some of you may have been here to do this drawing last week. Some of you may have not. Regardless of where you are, all of you can do this project, which is, to be kind of gross, we're painting a skin ball. Where I'm going to talk to you about, and I realized I forgot to get a color. Do I have a color copy of this model? I don't think I have a color copy of this model's picture. I might have forgotten to do that. But I will send it across the WhatsApp thread now so you can see it. Hold on. So we can look at the colors. You're going to find, and this is the sort of amazing thing about colors, skin color, is that it's so minor, the adjustments you make. There's a kind of standard, I mean, everybody mixes their colors differently, but for me, here we go, I'm gonna send this in. Sunday, where are we? There it is. So you can see here, if you're on the thread, you can see here that there's not that much difference in skin tones. Like our base is going to be the same, and then we're going to be mixing one or two other colors in. So my first assignment to you, I would like you, those of you who are participating in the assignment today, if you've got acrylic or oil paint, you're going to draw this circle, this shadow shape, which is just a curved line on the right side of the circle, and then this straight line here, indicating basically the wall, right? Here's the table and here's the wall. So circle, straight line, and then curved line. That's what I want you to start with on canvas. If you only have a piece of paper, you can do this with a pencil. So go ahead and sketch this in. And when you're done, I want you to sketch in these two lines like this, these curved lines like this. And for those of you who have been doing this a while, what does that suggest about this sphere that we're painting? What direction is the light coming from?
Left.
Upper left.
Upper left, right? Here.
Upper left, right.
How do you know that?
Shadows on the right, lower right.
Going to the right, and what else? What's this dot here? Anybody remember what this dot is?
The direct reflection.
Yeah, so that's the lightest part of the sphere, right? Which is, not surprisingly, closest to where the light first hits the sphere, right? So here is going to be lighter, probably the lightest. If we were to assign values to these, this would be like a 1. So, and value is the lightness or darkness of any color. So to review, if a 1 is light and a 5 is dark like this. Oh, here's, hold on, sorry, I'm going to get rid of my other screen here so you can see this better. Here we go. So if this is a 1 and this is a 5, so 1 is light and 5 is really dark. 2, 3, and 4 get sort of gradually darker. You can see I'm doing this with my pencil right now. Right? I'm doing this with my pencil. But you can see that there are values, which is the lightness or darkness of any color. So if this is a 1, and this is like a 2, this will be 3, this will be 4, this is going to be 5, right? So this is gradually getting darker as we move. And if you notice, if like this thing, as this thing turns away, the sphere turns away, it gets gradually darker. So if you're working with a pencil, all you need to do is start adding in values, right, that reflect these values. So this is a 1, you might make this a little bit darker, this darker still, and this darker still. Also, Marion, I'm going to email you a WhatsApp link so you can join our WhatsApp thread and send pictures of what you're working on, if you would like that. In fact,
you.
Lena, can I send that to you and you send it to Marion?
Yeah. I'll send it to her.
It's probably quicker because I've got you already in my phone.
Okay.
Grab it. Give me a moment. So all of you, those of you who are painting or drawing, go ahead and get these ready. You can even label them if you want to. And for those of you who are painting, I'm going to have you put, well, give me a second. Then I'll have you start setting up your painting palette. Can I send it to you via WhatsApp, Nina, or should I send it via?
Yeah. WhatsApp is fine. Okay.
All right, there it is. You could send it over. That would be good. The only reason I'm doing it in this backwards kind of way is that if I don't already have you in my site, it's difficult for me to add you, or it's not difficult, but when I'm in the middle of teaching a class, it's difficult. So Nina's in, it's easy for me to get this to work. All right, so once you've got this pinball labeled out, you're gonna put the following colors. Thank you. You're gonna put, as we did with last week's lighter skin model, we're gonna put a little bit of yellow ochre and cadmium red, white, and white. I'll label these and send a picture over so you can see it. And on the side here, down here, I'm going to put ultramarine blue. Burnt umber and burnt sienna. Here's really what I want you to think about. Yeah, I'll take a picture. My lighting's a little off today. I don't know why. Here. White. Add red. White. Got it, or just add red. Yellow ochre. Blue. Umber. And burnt. Here is the picture of our. So we have a slightly darker skin model today, but what's the same about the palette from last week's lighter skin model? What are the same? What are colors that appeared in the model last week? Or Joe, I bet you could answer this question even though you weren't here.
I didn't hear the question.
The question is, what are the same colors that were in last week's model? What colors did we use for the skin color for last week's slightly lighter colored model?
Cad yellow, red, and the ultramarine.
Yep. So 1, 2, and the white too, right?
And the white, right.
So 4 of these colors are exactly the same. And then I've just added burnt umber and burnt sienna because she's got a slightly darker skin tone. So that's what I want you to think. People get into this whole thing of now I don't know how to paint a dark skinned person. Now I don't know how to paint a light skinned person. What I want you to get is that the base for all skin color are these 4 colors. And then you're going to add a couple of other colors based on like how light or dark somebody is. Right? But it's not significantly different. If we have like somebody who's a little bit more olivey toned, we tend to add a cool red in here to create cooler shadows. But really, all of the basic skin tone is the same for everyone. So I want you to get that in your mind. Keep that in your mind. All right. So the first thing we're going to do, now if you've got acrylic, of course, your paint is going to dry faster. If you've got oil, your paint is going to dry slower. If you are working with oil, I'd like you, we're really done working with Gamsol except to clean our brush in between. Oops, sorry, Gamsol here. So you may want to pour yourself a little Gamsol. I've got some in here. Right, but we're not going to be using that to paint at this point. We're really going to be using it just to clean our brushes. If we're going to use any fluid at all, it's going to be Galkid, this honey colored liquid, to kind of make things a little bit. So I'm pouring in a little bit of Galkid. You might also be using the kind of non-liquid form of this. Pat likes it, right? Right.
Yeah.
Pat? So it's that would be a sort of jelly substance that you put on here. I don't happen to have any here at the moment. That would also work. Actually, maybe I do. Let me look. Let me see. I might have a
You
little.
have the blue stripe on it.
What's that?
I can't see myself, but I'm holding it up.
I can't.
Yeah, there it is.
What's that? Here, hold on a second. Let me find you. Yeah, that stuff. Do you see here? I'm going to add, hold it, keep it up. I don't actually have them, so, but I'm going to get some of that. So you might have this, which is similar to Galkid, except that it's in kind of a, like a paint form, like it, comes out like this. So you could actually put it right on your canvas. So you could use that too, to make your things a little bit more liquid. You could totally do that. I happen to have Galkid. I've got it in here. You can also use that stuff that Pat's put out. Thank you, Pat.
What do you use to wet your brush before you start painting?
I mean, you don't really.
You don't. Just do a dry brush into the paint?
You
Okay.
can do a dry brush into the paint, or you could use a little bit of, if you want to clean your brush, you could dip it in Gamsol, but then you'd want to squeeze off the Gamsol.
Okay.
You don't want Gamsol mixing in with your top layers. For those of you who are using acrylic, of course, this is much easier. You're just using water. Okay, so this is a palette knife. Any questions on that before we go forward? So here's a palette knife. We're going to start by mixing these skin colors, these 1, 2, 3, 4 skin colors that are on the model. So as before, I'm taking some yellow ochre and some red. You notice I'm being a little bit careful about the red, although in truth, to mix a base. And once I've mixed the base, I'm going to test the base to make sure it's not too red or too yellow. It's kind of a nice balance in between by pulling some white over and mixing some of the base with white. Actually, that's a pretty good, pretty balanced base. Too bad. I could maybe use a little bit more red. You see how I pulled the red white into my white. Notice also that I have my paints kind of organized at the top and on the sides, so I can kind of pull down into and over into various piles. while still kind of maintaining my original things. I'm going to take my, I'm going to take a paper towel and wipe off my palette knife so it's clean. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my blue over here and bring in some of this, some of my same base. I actually ran out of base, so I've got to make some more base. Into my blue, so I have a kind of shadowy color and a light color. And then I'm going to add a little bit of burnt umber to that. I'll take a picture of this and I'll write down the mixes so that you guys don't need to remember them. So this mix is red plus yellow. And then this is that mix plus white. And this is that mix, red and yellow, plus blue, plus umber. Okay. And then I'm going to give myself another mix. I start with like red and yellow, right? You see how quickly I'm kind of running out of my base. I'm having to mix more. All right. And then in this mix, I'm also going to add a bit of burnt umber, so without the blue. And I'm going to have this mix with a little burnt sienna as well. Oh, that's nice. I might use burnt sienna. Now I want to try something. Okay, let's do a little bit of this. Let's take a little bit of this mix. Adding some. Oh, great. You can experiment. You know, I kind of actually like the shadow mix with burnt sienna rather than burnt umber. I'm kind of liking that. That's a prettier dark. One more thing. I'm going to have you guys practice that. I'm going to send over the pictures so you can see it, but I'm also going to see if I can get a little bit more light on here. It's a little bit better. So you'll see that the mixes, even going to test them on here a little bit. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. The mixes are like, I can still get light, medium, and dark and shadow mix, right? You can still get light mixes and shadow mixes. Yeah, those are nice. I'm not sure I like this one so much. Well, they're both kind of nice. We're gonna have all of this available to you. All right, so let me see if I can categorize this for you because I just spit out a bunch of colors at you. You're gonna have, this is the base, right, which is cad yellow and red. Base plus burnt sienna. No, sorry, that's the base plus burnt umber. This is the base plus burnt sienna. This is the base plus burnt sienna. plus blue. So on this side, everything, all of the skin colors have a little blue mixed in to get the shadow part of the skin, right? The darkest parts of the skin. Also hair and things, which tend to be darker. And the lighter sides will probably use some of the base plus a little bit of burnt sienna plus white, depending on how light we need to make it. You guys send this over, send me pictures of your mixes. You know, mixing is a huge thing. So spend a little bit of time mixing, sending me pictures of your mixes across the thread. Remember, we have lots, or Sandra, you can send over your stuff, or Diana, right? Whatever you're working on, you can send over.
Thanks, Leah. I'm waiting for the giraffe to dry after being sponged off.
Okay.
I'm working on a harpy eagle in the meantime.
On a what?
Harpy eagle.
Oh,
They're made.
lovely.
Look,
Lovely.
they're amazing. They're almost as big as humans, if not bigger. They live in Latin America.
Wow.
I hope I do it justice. We'll see.
So what's nice about this class, I think, as opposed to all the other classes, is that this class, we take several weeks to do a project and we work slowly, but also we have more time. It's Sunday, we have 3 hours instead of 2. We're not rushed to finish a single project, right? It's a great place to come if you've got many projects going, but I will always have some kind of exercise at the beginning, like this one, for you to practice mixing and then blending. When you guys are ready, I will show you how to paint. When you're ready, I will show you how to start applying the paint. But I want you to spend some time mixing or working on whatever and sending me whatever.
Yeah, can I ask you a question about that barn?
Sure.
But I'd say I tried to draw it and I think I'm on. Yeah, I kept erasing it, but I think I need advice because I do want to paint it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you'd have to send what, did you grid it?
No, I'll send it to you. You know what confuses me are the straight lines and the other lines. I'll send it on the WhatsApp so you can see it.
Okay, send it on WhatsApp.
I'll send it on the Sunday string.
It's a left brain, right?
I'm thinking too much. Yeah, I spent an hour and it's still like I erased the whole thing.
You've forgotten everything I've taught you? Is that what you're telling me? No, I'm just teasing. But like
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. But when you see the barn, you'll see, like I put it on the Sunday thread because I know it's even on the bottom, but I think that railing makes it look like it's on a slant. And then the lines on the roof, I don't know, are slanted or straight.
Depends on which lines you're talking about. There's a lot of lines on the roof.
Oh, like you know on the roof on the, I don't know if they're not shingles really, but there's lines on the actual roof going.
Let me see the drawing. There we go. Oh, Pat, nice, Pat. I feel like there's a little too much yellow in your base mix, so you should add red into all of your other mixes.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to see a little bit darker. I want it to look a little darker on the darks with the shadows, right? So this is a shadow, this is a shadow. It should have a little bit more blue in it.
Okay.
But good beginning. So, well, Nina, you need to show me your drawing so I can see.
Oh, you want to see my drawing, which is half erased anyways. I sent you a sketch. I tried to do the vanishing point and then I got really lost.
This is not really a vanishing point situation. So that's part of the issue. You're looking
All right,
at straight on.
that's all I got. And then you can see I just kept erasing the lines because I didn't know what to do on the roof.
Oh yeah, there is one vanishing point. That's true. Actually, hold on. I think the roof has a vanishing point. Let me look at this again. So actually, everything is. So look at in a drawing in a sketch like this, right?
Uh-huh.
Everything is straight up and down, or straight, or curved the way you see it, except for the roof lines. So the roof line will be the only, these on the side here. These things will go up to a single vanishing point.
Oh, okay.
So if you trace what it is on the source, you should be able to check the angle of each side. The only thing that's angled is this side and this side. Everything else is just as you see it. Straight forward slant, straight forward slant. Every vertical line, except for these roof lines, which aren't actually vertical, they're coming up at an angle, are straight up and down. So it's
Okay.
Yeah, you're overthinking, but you're starting to overthink in the right way. That's good.
Yeah, good. Yeah, slow but steady progress.
Oh, but steady progress. This is much better than what you would have done a month ago or 2 months ago. That's what I want to tell you. So good job. I love it.
Okay, thanks.
You're on the right category.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm gonna go get some water, you guys. I'll be right back. Hermes says hello from the patio.
How is he doing?
No, he's doing great.
He's turned into a very beautiful kitty.
He is, and he's turning into a kitty who is foregoing his wild ways. So
Now what you've seen his siblings.
right now that we've seen his sibling, Rob was up at the farm last week, and his siblings are freaking practically feral. So I can see that, like he has to become used to not playing with, but he seems to be really growing into that. And every time I bring people in, he just thinks people are the best. He's like, hi. He's very charming.
Yeah, he's very cute.
Yes, he is. He's a lot of work, as you know, but they're cute. How's Sunny?
Sunny is wild but good. She was not expelled from class.
Oh, thank God.
She has calmed down a little bit in a week with all the training I'm doing.
Little by little.
Yeah. But another dog was expelled.
Oops.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And get expelled from dog training.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is a puppy class,
Bit disruptive.
and if they too wide, they rouse up the other puppy. So then it's just going to be a cat. I can't even say it. Everyone will be barking. Everyone will be barking.
I hate to be that parent. Your
Yeah.
dog got thrown out of.
Just describe the state of the world. Everyone is barking.
Yeah.
Barking.
So that's the good. She wasn't allowed to play with the other pups though, because that would be apparently too much for her.
Right. All right, let me take a look here. Tosh, you're getting better. I would like to see you mix a little bit of this color with blue. Okay? So you can get a shadow, a nice shadow color. Oh, Marion, nice. Not bad. Marion, what red are you using?
Sorry, I have to learn how to unmute. It is,
Looks like a cool red.
oh God, I need my glasses. Something crimson.
Yeah, okay, so you don't want to use that red. I'd like you to
No.
replace that red with a cadmium red, if you have it.
Oh, yes, okay.
So you don't want to use that, and I'd really like you to use yellow ochre.
I don't have that color.
Okay, what yellows do you have?
I have cadmium yellow deep hue
Okay,
and cadmium yellow medium hue,
try cadmium.
and then a primary yellow.
Okay, try cadmium yellow deep,
Okay,
cadmium red. You'll see the difference, and then I want you to try and mix again on another. Palette, just to notice
Okay.
the difference. You'll see
Okay.
these look a little bit sort of tan and muted. I think when you get in a warm red, can you see the difference between this warm red and scarlet? You'll see there'll be a difference in it'll look more skin tony.
okay.
All right, Pat, starting to get there. Get bold with your blue, Pat. Give me a real dark, rich blue.
In all of them?
You can put more blue in those dark mixes.
Okay, the 3 on the right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can put more blue in them.
Even if it looks like it turned it blue. Okay.
Maybe not that much blue, but it does. None of them look like they're turned blue right now, so you can put more
Okay.
blue in them. How's that?
Okay.
Whoa.
I think Marion's already on the way. She knows the difference between cool and warm. I'm still having problems with that.
We're playing with that a lot. So, Marion, do you have any painting experiencing? I'm kind of guessing you might, or are you just
Nothing.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know anything about painting or colors or anything like that.
We might have a ringer with us, folks. I'm not setting you up. Don't worry, Marion. You can do
Okay, no pressure.
No pressure. No pressure. If you're ready to dive in, though, that is a real good time. Some people are like very overwhelmed by this idea, so I'm impressed. I'll wait to see 1 or 2 more samples here, and then I'm going to demonstrate how you paint this, and then you guys are going to paint this skin ball. Disgusting looking skin ball. And I think I kept the last skin ball just to show you. So here was our last model. Here's our last figure that we painted, right? And then here is the practice skin ball we did before we worked. We were working on creating a blend between light to dark. So she's a little bit lighter toned. So this is how the skin ball looked. This one's darker toned, so we're gonna have a slightly darker skin ball. I wish I could find it something better to call this. It doesn't sound like I'm like Hannibal Lecter or something, but anyway. We're practicing our soft blending technique. Yeah, totally, Tosh. Oh, Tosh, those colors are looking great. Excellent. Absolutely. Oh, you know what? I do have some of this. This is some of the, this is what Pat is using. It's a solvent-free gel. So I'm going to put a little bit, I'm going to use that today so you guys can see.
I may just use that and never try gambling again. Or
the gal kit.
yeah, because I've wasted so much money on it now. That
Right. This is just fine. Plain air painters use this much. So you can see this is how the solvent looks. So Pat, you just occasionally wet your thing with your brush with this, and you can also use your Gamsol, the solvent, to clean out your brush in between. So
oh,
that's
okay.
what you do. You wet your brush in between with this.
Might have it. Might not, but I might.
Let's see. Oh yeah, there you go. Now you're starting to get there. Nice. Okay, I think we got it. Are you guys ready for me to demo how to paint?
Sure.
Let's do this. All right, so take a stop from mixing. Stop from mixing for a moment. And I'm going to once again review the two major brush strokes that you're going to use for all paintings. Or the two major types of edges, I should say, that you're going to use for all paintings. So just like if you knit, you will know that there are basically two major knitting moves. Is that how you say it? Two major knitting things that you do. There is knitting and there's purling, right? So you can bring your when you're knitting, you bring the loop over one way to do a knit, and then you bring the loop over the other way to do a purl. That is the same thing with painting. So I'm going to take a little bit of this solvent on my brush and just show you that there are two types of edges in painting. There is something called hard edge, and that looks like this, right? That means there's a full stop, right, between this dark and this light color, right? And I need to see that line. I need to see that line very clearly. But a lot of edges in painting do what we call the soft edge. Soft edge looks like this. You can usually see it where light meets dark. So once again, I'm going to start here.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
That's okay. And then I'm going to add in my dark, right? Like this. And then instead of stopping there, I'm putting a little bit more light paint on my brush, and I'm blending in. So that my edge isn't so strong, right? And you can notice I have to clean off my brush. You'll notice a couple of things. So I have a transition from light to dark, but it's softer. I don't see this strong edge here. So you can see that to do this, I generally have to have some paint on my brush. I usually go from light to dark, right? And notice I'm kind of going vertical and patting a little bit more so that there is no strong hard edge. Can you see the difference between this and this?
Mhm.
Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is to recreate that. Try doing a hard edge and then giving me a soft edge. Now in between, you may want to like take a paper towel and squeeze out your brush. So you get you get rid of your extra, say, dark paint. But show me an example of you can use any of your piles of skin color, light or dark, but you'll want a light pile next to a dark pile, right? A light area next to a dark area. Show me an example of a hard edge. Show me an example of a soft edge. Notice I'm also using a fairly big brush, right? This is, a lot of people like to start with a brush that looks like this. A lot of people like to start with a brush that looks like this on the right here. Notice that I'm not doing that. My brush is very thick and big. It's also flat across the top. My recommendation is that you use a bigger brush. It's harder to do this kind of work with a smaller brush. When we start working on big paintings, I'll have you do everything with this brush, but I'm not doing that to you yet. This usually makes everybody go insane, this one. I'm not gonna make you do this yet, but we are going to this, kind of a medium size, this bigger brush. Oh my God, I love painting so much. I was just thinking about that. The fundamentals, everything about it are so, there's so much technique, even in just something like what we've just done. It's a huge amount in what we've just done. And Nina, good job with recruiting today.
I think Marion's gonna pick up stuff really quickly. She's got a good eye for detail.
I can
No,
tell.
no, but I have a terrible memory, so you might tell me one thing 1 minute and I'll forget it the next. So that's the problem.
That's not bad, Marion. So on, I can see the one on the left is the softer edge. What I can see is that you kind of pushed, can you see that you sort of pushed the hard edge out
Yes.
a little bit?
Yes.
So keep tapping till you get rid of that.
Okay.
Right, but nice, yes, I can see that you get it. Don't worry, I don't expect you guys to remember this. How many, you guys, some of you have been with me for years. You'll know I keep repeating this over and over again. It's like, don't worry. It takes a while to get in, but yes, I can see, good job. You know, I think you're right. Marion, what's your last name?
Brozek, Brozek, or Zek, I guess.
Z-E-K?
We say Z in Canada.
I like Zed, works for me. Z sounds too much like C, D, and about a number, and a number of other things. That's better. Anybody, please feel free to send anything in at this point. If you're working on this assignment. Soft edge pad, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so once again, not bad, but I can still see a bit of the hard edge peeking through. So, so my suggestion is to keep loading your brush with light paint, right? And then continuing to tap on the edge lightly to blend that out.
Okay.
Try that.
Oof.
Not bad, Nina. I see a little bit of a straight line. Can you see it here? So we want this. We want to get rid of all hard lines. What often happens as you start to push it is that you just move it a little bit this way. Have you guys noticed that?
Yes,
You
it's
want to
frustrating.
do that blend across. So this is a good beginning, Nina, but you want to, my suggestion is to go horizontally so you can get rid of that, continue to get rid of that line.
Okay.
There you go, Marion. That's looking great. That's looking really good. There you go. Let's see. Yeah, Pat. Yeah, there you go. There you go. You know, it's just a matter of continuing to get paint on your brush, light paint, and continuing to kind of tap away.
I think I kept thinking that it had to happen right at the line and not to go any farther, but the farther out I go, it seems to work much better.
Right, and notice there's kind of a transition that happens here. There's like this light, and then there's this kind of medium, and then we move to the dark.
Right.
And the medium happens when you mix the light and the dark together, which is what happens at the dark. But that's okay. We want that. What we want are actually 3 values, 1, 2, and 3. Right? Light,
Right. Okay.
dark. So yeah, it's easy, and I'll show you guys here. Notice this is the hard line. Notice if I just do a little bit of light here, it's easy for me to just move this over. You see how I just moved the hard line over?
Yeah.
So I really have to kind of tap across so that I get, it's a lot of tapping and light so that I lose that edge. So that I lose that hard edge completely. Usually that means you create a third field, which is kind of a medium color. Practice helps. Did you do that? Tosh, did you just do that? Or is that last week's?
Yeah, I just said that's.
You just did this. Great. So I want you to look at her skin tone. I think in particular, okay, so I'm going to demonstrate this. Do it again, because I think this is good. I'm going to demonstrate this again. I think that her light skin tone is burnt sienna plus some of the base, right? Plus some light. So she's got a little bit more orange in her light skin tone.
Okay.
Right? So, oh wait, that's not even light enough. So I'm starting with like the lightest here, which is a lot of white in it, but also burnt sienna, cadmium red, and yellow ochre. Right, and then I'm going to add a little bit more just burnt sienna in that mix. So here, I've just got more. Maybe that's a little too much. See, it's easy to get too dark really quickly. To lose. Oops. It's hard to get that balance right. So we've got this kind of light spot. Now notice I'm painting kind of all the way up to the edge. Now if I'm using oil paint, I can fill in every single one of these, right? So I can keep going darker. My 3. If I'm using acrylic, I can't really do this. Oops.
Why?
Because acrylic will dry too fast.
Ah.
Right? So if I want to be able to do that blend, I'm going to need to do that soft blend between each of these areas. So I'm showing you that now, except where the darkest shadow is. So you see how I've done this kind of like a, I don't know, like a sherbet ball, and then this is like super dark. You can make a 5 with just blue and burnt umber. You notice these are gradually getting darker, right? Right now I've got hard edges. My job now, I'm cleaning out my brush. So this is if I'm using oil, right? So Nina, pay attention. This isn't going to work so well for you. You're probably going to have to do one section at a time, 1 to 2. So now I have a little bit of white. I'm going to start blending out that white so that I have a transition to the 2, but it's soft. See that? So I have a light, but it's softer. And then got a little bit more color and I start blending this edge. See? Watch how I'm like blending. This is why I mean it's kind of a weird skin ball. Right? I want this to read as lighter than this, but I want the transition to be softer because this is how most skin tones are, except for very dramatic shadows. Also, notice if I want to lighten or darken something, I just go in with the lightening color right in here. See how I'm doing a lot of this tapping and kind of circling? And then, notice I'm cleaning my brush off with a paper towel in between so I can keep going darker. I'm bringing this into here. So I also want there to be a transition from light gradually to darker. Technically, there is, right before the light turns around, there's a little light edge here. It's tough to do with a big brush though, so I don't require that you do it. Technically, from dark to light, there's a little light edge right before something turns away. And then this is a pretty hard edge here, actually. You don't have to, this is right, because this is the object, and this is the cast shadow, which is separate from the object. So that's what you're going for, is a transition from light to medium to dark. Say goodbye to your next hour. That's the challenge. That's what I love about this skin ball assignment. It's so, because it helps you do what we have to then do with our next model. And this is going to help you with everything. Eventually we'll go to portrait drawing in this and painting in this section. Let's see. Oh, Diana. Okay, that's better, Nina. That's better. Diana, that dog. She's a crazy one. I freaking love that expression. She's just like, ah.
I'm just scared my cat's flee up.
Marion, for the since you're new here, we spend a lot of time talking about our pets.
And Nina told me I have my dog laying under my feet right now.
What kind of dog do you have?
Mine's asleep on the
uh,
couch.
He's an Australian Labradoodle and he just turned 6 years old on Wednesday.
Can you take a picture and send it over?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can
Video.
send you a picture.
Listen, this is what we love about being able to be at home. We can do our passions and be with our animals, except I can't have Hermes inside because he will go bananas. Oh,
This is Ranger under my feet, under my chair right now. But let me
Let's see.
find another picture.
oh, hi, Ranger. Oh,
Oh, sweet.
you could do a little blend on Ranger's head right now. Look, he's got
It's
like
called
a medium and then a light. Oh, for God's sakes. So cute.
oh, sweet.
Yeah, he's very cute.
I love a color.
Oh, and then
Okay,
that's
Dad,
you.
I know you've renamed her, but I keep thinking of her as Bridget. It's not Bridget though.
Scaramella.
Caramella, that's right. Caramella
Caramella Cane.
is obsessed with Pat. She goes everywhere Pat goes.
Well, she really doesn't because it turns out she gets sick in the car.
Oh, really?
So she's learning to stay home on her own.
Oh. You know, one day we should have a session where we all paint our pets. Where I do a lesson on that. Like
I do that anyway, right?
yeah, Diana, you just do that anyway. But it would be fun someday to do a session where we all paint like my pets. So guys, I want you to know that this takes, don't worry if if you're kind of going back and forth, if you're fussing. You know, if you're working with oil, it's a lot easier to make this work. And you'll notice oil people, we don't do much liquids. I think I maybe dipped in once. We're mostly just going wet on wet. If you're working with water, with acrylic, it's harder because the acrylic's going to dry. So you can maybe only do sections at a time. But with oil, you can lay the whole thing out like I did and then blend the edges because it doesn't dry right away. It just depends on how you like to work. Like as you start to get used to the brush, and the brush is a tool, like a hammer, like a chisel, like a, I don't know, like a freaking lock and key, like a spatula, you know, like a buzz saw. All of these things are like a lawnmower. Everything is a tool we need to learn how to use. So is the brush. So don't feel bad if it doesn't come out the way you want. I know I made that look very easy, but don't feel bad if it doesn't, it's not that way for you. These are fundamental skills I'm teaching, and soft and hard edges is the wax on, wax off philosophy of painting. Is that a reference everybody gets? We're all old enough to understand that reference.
Oh,
Yeah, kid. On, wax off. Now, wax my car. Wax my car. I'll be right back. I'm going to check on my little man. Here's my little guy. He's here. I'll add the spotlight so you can really see him.
Hi, Amis. Hi.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Amis. He's such a big cat.
I know he's so huge. He's very,
Very cute. Hi, kitty.
These guys remember him, Marion, from being a kitten just a year ago. So a year ago, we painted him.
Yes, I still have the painting.
I know. He's like, he was a little wild man, and he's just getting very sweet.
Very cute.
Here we go. I thought you were done on the last one, so let me look and see, Diana. I'm sure the answer is yes.
There was a little bit in the eyes and the ears that needed to be.
Yeah, just little tiny things. Let's take a
Yeah.
look. I think in general, yeah, I totally think you're done. And I really love the background.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the background, I think you're getting really good with these background colors. And I noticed that you're thinking about the ear colors when you're thinking about the background.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. You want to look for your papa? Go ahead. Beautiful.
But I have to start a new project.
That's right.
Sandra, how is it going with the giraffe?
So I'm letting it dry. So I'm working on this guy instead.
Oh,
Hold
it
on,
has
I'm gonna
such
hold
a
that up
fun.
so you guys can see it. Hold it up. Nice. Strange creature. I love him.
But you haven't put the focus on Sandra.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Yep, she's. I added the spotlight. Can you not see it?
It's you.
Now I can.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, lovely.
It is. I think sometimes when you have speaker view on, you won't see the spotlight. But if you move it to gallery while there's spotlights, then you'll see the spotlight.
Oh, it was the other way around. I had it on gallery, and when I put it on speaker, it worked.
And it worked. Okay, weird. Right. One of those two things.
Right.
So by the way, the giraffe,
Yes.
once it's dry, the advice is to.
We have
Oh,
several.
let me show you what it looks like. Let me show you what it looks like
We have several
after,
pieces of advice.
after being sponged off. I mean, it's still very green.
Did you mix red with your green?
No, I haven't done anything. All I've done is sponge it off.
Now I can't see again. Can you put it on spotlight again?
Yeah, hold on.
Sorry.
Hold on, hold on. Yep.
So, but it's much better. It's much better.
I don't actually think it's problematic at all.
This is just being sponged off. I'm gonna do another color on top,
I think
but maybe some light green. And you were, I'll make some tests. You were suggesting some yellow.
Yeah, so
it's
some
just
burnt sienna, maybe.
so. Yes, my suggestion would be
Yellow ochre.
sienna mixed with green. My suggestion
what-
would be burnt sienna mixed with green, so that you have a subtle, more pushed back green.
That's gonna look disgusting. No, beyond sienna and green. Like,
Oh, but yellow ochre.
okay, I'll do some experiments.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Aww.
My goodness.
I know. He was a great little guy.
He was so sweet.
He was so sweet. He was a sweet, sweet dog. Rest in peace, Hayden.
Oh, how sweet.
I know.
What was his name?
His name was Aiden McCree.
Oh, you have complicated names on your.
Did you call him Bud each time?
He was very fiery and brave, even though he was little. So I named him a couple of Gaelic names for fiery and brave. And he was a redhead,
Like you, his mom.
like me. Sometimes, I'm not really anymore. We've transitioned.
All right, let's see. I remember that piece. Very nice. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Checking on them. Speaking of transitions. Oh, sorry, Sandra, I'll take you up.
Lovely.
Highlighting you there.
Oh,
So we're all staring at you doing your work. How's this process going, guys?
I think the skin ball exercise is effective.
Right? It helps
Yeah.
you kind of do it bigger so that when you go to do it smaller.
Well, the mixes I had, I liked until I started putting them on the canvas, and then it was not quite right.
So but you could figure out how to adjust, right?
Yeah, more blue.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's the nice thing. Joe brought up something really important, which is that they may look right here, but when you put them on here, you'll be like, wait, that doesn't look quite right. So you can add a color that you need right on the canvas while things are still wet, right? So it's easy when you're doing oil paint mixing is because your paint isn't going to dry. It's a little trickier when you're using a water-based medium because your paint will dry quicker. So you'll need to keep on constantly re-wetting both sides, right? With the dark and the light color to be able to make that work. So many people find this easier. Nina, this doesn't really look significant. So your dark looks good, but this doesn't really look like a ball to me. Looks more like a oblong. I want you to work on a circle,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And then I want you to work on, I don't really see a shadow side. So your shadow side, all the darks in here should have blue in them.
Okay.
Just be darker reds, right? All the darks should have blue in them. So
Okay. I still have a very crappy red. I have a phthalo or a crimson. That's it.
you have a crappy red. You've got phthalo red.
Or something like, we didn't like it last time. No, sorry, it's primary red. Primary red.
Primary red. Yeah, those two reds are kind of sucky for this exercise, but I'm not as worried about that as I am noticing that your 3 and your 4 and your 5 should all have skin mixes with some blue in them.
Yeah. Okay.
Can be white and the skin mix without the blue and white. But 3, 4, and 5 need to have some blue in them because we need a bit of shadow. They need, these areas are in shadow, which means they're muted a little bit.
Okay. Makes sense. All my paints keep drying because I keep making such a small amount. So
So mix a bigger amount, but also you need to work more on maybe 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. And then wait, and then mix, and then get those right, and then mix 3 and mix 4 and 5, right?
Yeah.
Because you'll need those. You can only do like your stuff will dry fast. That is the problem.
Okay.
But it's the same principle with acrylic. You need to do the same thing as you're doing with oil. So it's just kind of learning how to work with that. You can just kind of paint over the ball, except I'd like you to redraw that circle so it's actually circular, like a
Sure.
proper circle.
Okay.
Like that. Okay. Yeah. 2 and 3. So actually, your bigger issue, Marianne, is with 3 and 4. Are you working
Okay.
with acrylic or are you working with oil?
Acrylic,
Okay, so what's happening is you're
drying.
drying. So I would focus on just one edge at a time. So mix some 3, mix some 2 and mix some 3, right? And then work on and wet. You're going to need to re-wet both edges with 3 and 4, and then try the blend across. So that's the challenge with acrylic. You're going to quickly find that you'll probably want to jump into oil because oil is like
Oh,
a pain, but it's if you're a beginner, it's easier.
oh, it might be. I don't know.
It's way easier. It's way easier because, well, we'll see how she does. Some people can make it work with acrylic, but you've got to actually know what you're doing to be working with acrylic. So it sometimes helps. So it helps, I think, for things not to dry right away. Anyways, if this is all you do for the whole session, this is great. If you are going over and over, remember that the advantage of acrylic over oil is that acrylic dries. So you'll be able to keep layering colors on top of each other without any problems. If you're working with oil, the disadvantage is that the more paint you pile on top, the muddier your colors get. So there's a point where you may need to take your palette knife and scrape some off, right? Rather than keep piling on. So there's the advantage, disadvantage. There's an advantage for you acrylic people. You never have to worry about taking stuff off. Paint on top.
I love my acrylic.
Yeah, but you've been painting for many years. Acrylic is great. It has advantages, but for a beginner, acrylic is often requires that you work too fast to really get your brush strokes in. So for people who it takes more time to figure out how to mix, really a better beginning medium. For people who who get it, some people just get it really easily. It's kind of a natural for you. You're introduced to it once and it feels pretty natural. In that case, acrylic might be a good option for you. I myself go back and forth.
Is the solution perhaps to use a medium to slow it down?
Not really. I mean, I think that's an old, I think the solution is to understand what your medium does, right? Like, so, I mean, you could use that, but I don't like to encourage that because then I think it discourages people from understanding what their medium does. I want you to work with basic paint. I want you to know what to do with basic paint. Getting fancy with mediums just means, it could be, but getting fancy with mediums just means you're kind of giving yourself a crutch that you shouldn't really have. You know, like ultimately you should learn to operate without. Having said that, the Golden Open series of paintings, of paints does dry slower. So if you want to spend more money on Golden Open, that's a way to, it's got more of an oil-like consistency.
And I think when you get to the stage when you mix your paint on the canvas, then it lasts a lot longer.
Yeah, you
I
just
mean,
know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
When you're a beginner, you don't know what you're doing. So like at the beginning, whatever we can do, or you quickly learn that this is something you got.
I get it. Yeah, and I can see that.
You know what, Diana, this is a fairly recent understanding for me. I used to always start everybody off with acrylic. And then Joe will tell you that he had tons of frustrations when he first started painting because he was painting in acrylic. And the moment he switched over to oil, they all went away. Let's see.
The acrylic, I continued to have to mix colors and they weren't never the same. So then I had to mix the same. I had, I don't know how many layers.
Right.
Because I had to remix the color and then paint the whole thing again.
Yeah, it was just insane.
I have to say this really put me off to acrylic. That's why I switched to watercolor because we would do all these mixes and by the time you came to use them in the painting, they were dry.
That started
I can see that. I don't do mixes though because
because you mix on the canvas so you know what you're doing.
You know what you're doing. Okay, so Tosh, I love this. Marion, the difference between 2 and 3 looks pretty good. Now you have to work on the difference between 3 and 4. And then you also need to make your 5 darker. So mix some more blue into your darkest mix and get your 5. 5 can be a hard edge because it's not the object, it's actually the cast shadow. So there's a little bit of a harder edge between here and here. So now work the edge between 4 and 5 Also, I'm questioning how much blue you have in 4 and 3. You should have a little bit of blue in your 3 mix to look more shadowy. Tosh, that's great. That's great. Now, Tosh, if you're ready to start painting, you can start working on this guy. And I think you know what to do. I think you can just lay in your darks. I will demonstrate it a little bit later, but if you feel ready, Tosh, go ahead and jump in. You're gonna lay in, right, your lights and your darks here, and then you're gonna do a series of soft blends. I forget if you got your base in. Did you get this in last time?
I did.
All right, so now you're gonna start laying in your darks and your lights. You may want to use this if you're using a smaller, if you're making a smaller painting like this, you might use a smaller brush. See how it feels to you. But I think you're ready to start. You can go ahead and start. Later I will demo for everybody else, but I think you're ready. And Pat, you have basically a singular solid colored ball. So you need to.
It doesn't look like that from here, but it is pretty similar.
Here. So it's not really dark enough. So you'll look here, you'll see there's a very, here, I'm going to take a picture and send it across. You can really see it. There's a very distinct difference. Between the light side and the darker side, right? This is the lighter side and this is the darker side. There's still a pretty distinct difference. Light to dark and then dark.
So how do I fix this?
Well, what do you think? What's your thought?
I put white in the top one in number 2.
Yeah, so maybe start to work your edge between white and then put more blue, make a darker mix for your, so I would work with 2 and 3, right?
Okay.
So put more white in your light mix and then put more blue in your dark mix.
Okay.
Work that transition. All right, Joe. Get a little bit darker in here, Joe.
The number 3 needs to be a little darker.
Number 4. The darkest part needs to be just so it's a little bit too small.
Right.
Bring it up a little bit more.
Okay.
Right? Bring it up a little bit higher.
Okay.
It's more otherwise you totally got it.
Tasha's was amazing, so I just copied.
You went with her.
Looks really good.
Yeah.
I think mixing colors with oil was really frustrating the first 2 or 3 times. The last 2 or 3 have been a lot better, and today's the best.
Yep, it's getting dark enough.
It's just, I'm finally mixing enough color too. I never mixed enough, and then I was running out.
Right. So Marion
better.
said she was having the same problem.
Right.
But she was working in acrylic.
Yeah.
Or no, Nina was saying she was having the same. I can't remember. One of you two was saying you were having the same problem that way.
It was Nina, but I'm also having the same problem.
Yeah, right. That's a very typical problem. So if it makes you feel better, it's a typical problem to have. It's a very typical problem. So that's why we're practicing it. And that's why you might spend the whole lesson just working on this. Just working on that, because that will get you ready to do everything else that we're going to do in the following classes. And by the way, Marion, you're doing great. You're doing excellent. For a
Thank you.
I'm impressed. Oh, and you guys, just to let you know, there is no abstract art class this Tuesday because this Tuesday is Carissa's 40th birthday. You might send her a note just to wish her happy birthday if you've worked with her. At 1:30, I'll start a demo on how you translate this over to your figure. But for those of you who didn't paint or draw the figure, you may just want to just keep going with the balls, with the spheres. You can do a couple, you can keep working on your one. This is a great practice.
I need to pop out of the class and take my dog for a quick walk.
No worries, we'll be here. You know what
Okay.
you need to do.
All right. Okay. See ya.
Gosh, look at how Nina is stalking her colleagues, finding just the right ones.
Inspirational, Nina.
I've known Marion a really long time because she wanted to. We had this global day of impact thing in May at Thomson Reuters, and so she wanted to make cards for kids.
And you were
And so
like,
she was, yeah, and that's how this whole thing started. So
good job.
yeah, Marion's very talented because she knits and stuff. I don't think she's as left brain as me.
No, she's definitely shows some, I would say you're right. She definitely shows some aptitude, but not that you don't, but you know what I mean? She shows some affinity for the tools, which is interesting, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she would be more natural than me. Let's just put it that way.
You're so cute. I don't ever like to think about it like that, but I do like to think that if you have been knitting, that's a natural transition to painting, and vice versa. I think as well.
Yeah, I prefer words, right? But I really like this. I just want to get better at it, or more intuitive, I would say.
You are getting better at it. You are. I'm seeing it happen.
You keep giving this knitting example here, and at last somebody does knit.
Yes. Yes.
She doesn't say anything, but she's a great knitter. She's never made me a hat, but she's a great knitter.
How passive aggressive was that?
I've known her a long time. She makes hats for so long, and I'm like, are you giving me a hat? Like, are you giving any of us a hat? Like,
I just opened you up to the world of painting. Now it's time for you to give me a hat. Pat is a knitter. Pat has given me some beautiful pieces that I still wear in the wintertime.
Just finished a cowl.
Oh,
Yes, Pat is a beautiful knitter.
And I
Oh,
thought of
oh.
Leah because there's three yarns, and the way they blended it was interesting.
Yeah. Guys, by the way, so no abstract art class this Tuesday. And we have a gouache class on Friday. If you did not manage to make it, it has been recorded. The Thursday class was a little more chaotic and didn't get fully recorded, so we decided not to put that one up. But the Friday class, from what Sandra said, went pretty well. So,
absolutely. You're not talking about next Friday. You're talking about the one that just happened right
That's
here.
Friday, right? No, we're back to watercolors with me.
Okay,
Are we
I did a quick draft of my next painting.
Oh wow, lovely. Great base. Great base. Notice here, everybody, how Diana put all the shadow areas of the face in blue and all the lights in a warm
Nice.
tone. Notice that for her base.
Yeah.
So that blue denotes a kind of cooler. It's not only darker, it's also cooler, right? And the light parts are not only lighter, they're also warmer. They have a little bit more yellows and oranges in them. It's nice.
Mhm.
It's a great way to do base. Wonderful base. Maybe one day Diana will teach a lesson on how to paint a kitty cat. I hear Jessica Pryor has an idea, and I'm excited to hear what.
Has she told you what it is?
Mm-mm. I've been like out of town most of this week, so when she announced it, I was like, "Oh yeah!" And then it was like, complete insanity for the next like.
So what is it?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to
Oh,
talk to
no.
her about it. I'll have to ask her. But whenever she has planned, it's always good.
But she seems to be a very organized person.
Yeah, and she just has a lot to say, like she has a lot of knowledge.
Yes,
So
she
much
does.
practice. She probably puts in a good 15, 20 hours a week beyond her full-time job, which is, as you all know, is pretty hard to do. So she puts in as much time as a lot of professional painters do. So she knows. When I say professional painters, I don't mean.
And she's gone to art school.
Yeah, I mean professional in terms of somebody who makes a living selling art, often works 20 to 30 hours a week in the studio. I'm generally a 30-hour a weeker just because of everything else I have to do, including teaching and running the school. So she manages 20 to 30 hours while also working full time. That's pretty.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive. And it means she is like a professional artist who just isn't because she doesn't sell the work. Let's see. How's it going, Nina? Getting better. So now I see no transition between medium dark and darker dark. Also,
the problem is because I'm doing a damp brush, it seems to be taking away the paint.
well, so squeeze out the water in your brush and use more paint. Also, Nina, why is your shadow up here? You can see here, you have your shadow up here.
Oh, Because I have another ball underneath. I drew 6 balls.
Okay. So be aware that your shadow can't be up that high. That's not where it's really directly, if I was to draw a diagonal line down, right? See this? Diagonal line. That shadow runs along that line. It doesn't go woo like that.
Okay, I'll paint around it then. Okay.
Yeah. Getting better, but also, yeah, just put less water on your brush and more paint.
Okay. You're right. This will take like an hour or two. Yeah.
You're getting it. This is everything that that you're learning how to deal with acrylic.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wanted to do.
This is great. Thank you.
You're getting there. It's better, except that now your shadow looks funny, but you'll get there too.
Okay.
Notice where it is in relation here. I'll paint it in really quick. So that if I was like, let's see, I'll do this for the edge. Here is my wall. Right? Here is my wall and my table is here. See that?
So anyone that likes quirky personalities and watching beautiful art develop, I can highly recommend Painting with John on HBO.
Oh, I saw one of those.
Aren't they fun?
I hadn't gone back and I've only seen one. He didn't do a lot of painting, it seemed.
Oh, he does painting, and at the end you see a lot of his paintings. They go by at the credits. I love it.
All right, I need to look at more of those.
Yeah.
The other one that's fun is the oh gosh, what's the portrait one that they do in England?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
great.
that's more like a painting lesson. That's more like that gets like a painting lesson, and it's fun.
How fun.
Isn't it called portrait something?
It's
The best portrait painter in the world or something?
Yes, it's something like that. Portrait show on BBC. Let me see. Oh, Portrait Artist of the Year. Portrait Artist of the Year. That's what it's called. That's like Iron Chef or something like that for painting.
Yeah.
Leah, I'm trying to blend some of this with a dry brush, but that seems to be pulling paint off. Is that not a good idea at all?
Well, more paint will make that, right? So more paint, I think will probably make that. You're probably pushing too hard with the brush. And also a lighter hand. Did you see how much, here, did you see how, here, I'll do a little transition here. So you can really see, right? So see how lightly.
And that's just paint with no Galkit in it, right?
Yep. So see how I'm tapping?
All right. Okay.
I'm not really pushing. If I'm pushing, then yes. If I'm pushing like this, then I'm losing my paint. I'm losing my edge.
Yeah.
Things are getting picked up. But if I'm lightly tapping, really just working that edge, then I get better results. Painting's so awesome. Okay, is everybody all, okay, should I keep an eye? There you go, Pat, getting there. Yep, 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 yep. I love the transition. Now, and this little white dot that you've got here, Pat, that should also have a little bit of a, see how mine's a little bit more blended out and a little bit bigger? And not
Okay,
dotty?
between the light and the lightest.
1 and 2, yep, yep, so
Okay.
work that edge, but
Do
very.
I need more, do I need more also between 2 and 3?
2 and 3 looks good. You're gonna need a little bit darker between 3 and 4.
3 and 4, okay.
3 and 4, yeah.
It's like being at the optician.
Yeah, lovely, but much improved,
Oh, the whole thing needs to be darker. I get it, okay.
right? Got it? Four needs to be darker, which means you're gonna have to rework that edge between 4 and 3.
Yeah, I didn't have a big enough undershadow.
Yes, but you're getting there. It's looking much better. I love the blend between 2 and 3. Now we got to work on the blend between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
I'm afraid I found my own way to blend. Is that okay?
That's how it works.
Okay. I figured you'd say that.
It works. I'm results driven. I'm giving you as much technique as I can, but in the end, you've got to find your own way. Everybody does. I did. I had to do it. Every artist had to do it. You have to do it too. My job is to give you as much technique as possible to help you get there, but ultimately you got to figure it out. And then
Yeah,
I need you to try and
actually
do
show
somebody else
different
how to
techniques.
do it. What?
I didn't hear, I talked over you that last one. What'd you say?
Oh, I said, and then I challenge you to try and break it down and tell somebody else how to do it. It's like, I just do it.
Just do it, damn it.
Do it.
Do it right.
So, like, you're gonna figure it out yourself. It's gonna become a thing. I can take you so far, but at the end of the day, you've got to spend your time. You all have to spend your time with the tools, figuring it out, right?
Right.
Right. You need to spend your time with the tools, and and that's why I say this is the knit and pearl of painting. You will spend your whole painting career working on making these edges. This is not something you just get. Something you get, you lose, you get again, you play around with.
Yeah, I think I spent 2 hours working on 2 new stitches I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because I kept screwing them up inside the thing. So I just gave up and used some other yarn and practiced.
Right? You got to practice. That's exactly right. Yeah, we got a knitter. Okay, I'll be right back, you guys.
Sandra, where was your cat bird today? Your cat bird.
Oh, it's still, you haven't heard it?
No, I haven't heard it today.
Oh, I heard it a bit. I'll let you know when he comes back. I gave him his food, so It's a couple now.
Oh, that's sweet. That's very sweet.
I hope I don't make a nest in the garden, because then it'd be difficult to protect the youngsters when they learn how to fly.
Have you painted one of them before, a catbird?
No,
No.
I haven't done many birds.
Okay.
They're gray and black.
Ah, okay. I don't think they come out to Canada, actually.
You said
Oh,
out.
that's- yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I must say the birds we have here are nothing like the birds I grew up with in France.
I bet.
I mean, we have many more beautiful songbirds.
We have
I mean,
mourning doves that go. "Woo."
Oh yes, I love those. I first noticed them, first time I noticed them was in Central America, actually. They have them there. And I love their color too, this kind of taupe color.
Yeah, that kind of lightish. Yeah. I have a picture of one of those if you want it.
They mate for life.
Yeah, they do. I have, I think, 2 couples in my garden.
I have a
A lot of
I
birds.
rescued one after we had a big storm and one of them got injured. I rescued him, but they never gave him back to me to release him to his mate.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know what, we have some sort of bird flu here right now.
Oh yes, here too.
Yeah, so I actually found one of our doves dead.
Ah,
Yeah,
That's a shame.
yeah.
Can I show you, is Leah back? No. I'm gonna need a background because I stained the background.
You don't. Can we see?
Yeah.
Oh, he's beautiful.
Wow, really nice.
I
Yeah.
would go with the yellowish background on
But
that.
I have some purple and blue. Oh, mind you, it can be a dotted thing.
Yeah, because you have purple and blue in there, so yellow or orange would look really good against those feathers.
Hmm.
It would look really good.
I usually like backgrounds that look like it's nature though.
Well, you can do a yellow that looks like nature.
Yes, but I have a stain of purple and a stain of blue. So I guess I'm gonna have to, for it to be mottled or something. Do you know what I mean in the background area? I had a couple of accidents.
Well, it doesn't matter. You just paint over them and they shine through.
One of them is turquoise and the other is purple.
But if you have something that is yellowish, it will make the yellowish or orange would make the bird pop.
Thank you. Okay. Sandra, did you need anything or did?
Yes, I was going to show you my beast.
Okay, and then I will demonstrate how this works with the figure itself.
I'm showing it to you now on the screen.
Can you take a picture of it, honey, and send it?
Oh.
Helps me to see. Here, I'm gonna send my ball across so you guys can see it. Yeah, Pat, starting to get there, although now we've lost a little bit that dark, so get that a little bit darker. I know, it's
okay.
a loss.
And they have to get a new palette here.
We lose it, we gain it. It's okay, but it's good. You're getting there. And you're learning to work with oil, which is the most important thing. Also, for students who are here in Portland, Marie and I are throwing a plein air painting day at Sauvie Island in August. So I'm about to eat. Oh my God, that's looking good.
Really?
Yeah. So what are you, are these top colors? The eyes look great.
Oh, really? I thought I'd messed up the eyes, but I have a feeling I should go dark on the coat, but I don't know quite how to. And there's some highlights I've missed.
Can you,
Well, maybe that.
can you send the photo over?
So the photograph is inverted because don't ask me how I did this.
I like how so there's a couple of things I'm really liking about this. One is I really like how the eyes are looking. The other is I love the strokes you've used to make these feathers up here. These are great.
Oh my goodness.
You mean the top, the feathers at the top?
Yeah, the very top, right?
Right.
We need more work down here, but up here, don't touch these. They have a very feathery look. Your initial strokes are really working. So now it has to do with pushing contrast.
Yes, exactly. This is what I need to do, pushing contrast, because my bird is much paler than the original.
Got it.
At least the main body, you'll see.
So guys, here's an interesting thing. Sandra's working in another medium and another subject completely. But look at the same thing that you're doing, which is working edges, making sure that you have good contrast and good soft edges. Right, so good contrast between light and dark, and then softness of edges. Sandra's having to do the same thing with her bird, right? So everything in painting is about hard and soft edges, dark and lights, and really focusing the detail. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Focusing the detail on where these things meet. So the first thing, Sandra, is you have an entire light side, a dark side, right? I guess you're going to put the dark side here.
I'm completely confused because I'm looking at it inside out. So the dark side should be on the left.
The left. So there's the dark side of the face. That's the first thing.
And it's not dark enough, right?
It looks exactly the same as the light side. So
okay.
Yeah.
It's a different color. It's more red.
It's red with some, so you're going to mix blue in there. A little
Yeah,
bit
a lot
of
of purple.
But it's the right side that's dark, not the left.
But,
side.
well, so it's a bit confusing because the photo is not the same places. So I got muddled myself.
Well, they say, oh, they made it mirror.
I printed the photo the wrong way.
Yeah. Okay, so it's the left side that's dark. I get
so
it.
she has to match it with the shadows that are over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first thing is, Sandra, you've got to mix a warm dark. So there's, burnt sienna plus a touch of blue to make a shadow. And then I leave the other sides, and it's the same with the beak, right? There's a sort of light blue side to a beak, and then the other side is kind of much grayer and darker. So you've just got to do, so that's what you've got to do. Focus on that contrast. Oh, Nina, you're starting to get there.
So how do I make the coat darker? See the body is much darker than I have it.
Well, how would you make what, I'd like you to answer
I mean, what color do I need? Because it's like purple and blue. I can't seem to find the right kind of blue.
It looks to me like phthalo is involved.
Oh, okay.
And maybe some turquoise.
Okay.
And in the shadow parts, there should be a touch of burnt sienna put in those colors.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. Awesome.
Yeah, you kind of have the right colors, but they just too weak.
Yeah. I need to go much darker.
Yeah.
Yep. But she also has to remember that all of the shadow areas need little bits of the complement in. So that's a challenge. I know, Sandra, that's the hardest part for you. So I'm like encouraging that. All right, I'm going to do a little painting on this source for those of you who would like to try it, or you'd like to work on your own source. Let's see here. I'm going to put this here up a little high. Oh, so annoying here. There we go. Okay. So you can see this is the black and white, but you can still see the darks and lights that are here. So as I'm coming in, I'm going to paint this. I maybe have a little bit of this wet from the solvent, right, that I'm using, but mostly it's just paint I'm getting on my brush. And I'm getting some of the wet skin color, too dark, right, on my brush. So you can see I'm adding in, yeah, she's a dark skinned woman, but she's fairly light here. So it's a fairly light skin tone with a bit of burnt sienna in. And notice I'm just kind of working around the edges. So last week I painted in a little bit of the base color in just burnt sienna, darker and lighter version. So I'm working on top of that. But you'll notice that essentially I'm adding in my light colors now, kind of flexing them. And she's quite light on this side. Also here in her neck on this side. Also here in her face on this side. Everything else is a bit darker, but up here, these lights, yeah, her legs get darker. Then we get down here, I need to add a little bit more dark to that skin color mix. So I'm using a kind of a free here. Hi, Muka. Hold on, now Muka wants to say hello. Here, hold on. Come on, Muka. Hi, Boo Boo.
Hi, Muka, poor Muka.
I know. She's a trooper. She gets plenty of loves. Oh yeah, she's still kind of pissed at me. I can see it. She made a moaning sound when I picked her up. Let's see. No, you're not doing this.
Okay, never mind.
Well, anyway, later. Oh, here she is. Now she's sitting on my chair. If I can, yeah. There she is. Here, put the tab up.
Let's see. She's too low. You can't see her.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me spotlight this. There she
Oh, hi, Muka. Hi, sweetheart. That's it. That's nice.
is. She's like, I hate my brother. I hate my brother.
Oh, she doesn't.
But sometimes she doesn't. All right, let's go back to painting. So you'll notice I'm kind of getting where it gets darker. I get a little bit darker. However, I'm still working what I consider the side of the body. So I'm working the skin tone. I'm adding it. When I say working, I mean I'm adding in the skin tones that are lighter. Let's see. Up here. Here. So you can see, just like I did with the sphere, I kind of get my lighter skin tones in. Now, I'm going to dip my brush in damp salt, clean it off. So I get some of these whites off. And I can go in with these darker shades. See that? And I'm starting with the hard edge for the darker and the lighter. So I'm starting once again with the dark and a light and a hard edge and a softer edge. And then just like here. And then I'm blending. I'm kind of blending in. I'm adding in the darks that are in the light side because there's some shadow parts in the light side, right? I'm blending in. Is this helpful to watch, Tosh? I know you're probably the only one who's at this point.
Yeah.
You
But I
see,
did it very differently.
right? It's okay. And I get it. It's like kind of tricky. So you see there's like all these transitions from light to dark, which I'm now trying to get in subtly. I may have to use a slightly smaller brush to get more detail, but everywhere there's a light area, I'm kind of blending in over the dark edge. Almost everything is soft edges. Isn't it? How much this part of the face is kind of darker. Now for the hair, I'm going to mix burnt umber and ultramarine blue. Just go straight in with dark. Hair is the darkest thing about her. Hair is usually the darkest thing about all of us. The only thing that's really different is sometimes if you've got gray hair, your gray hair will be lighter than your skin tone, but almost in every other case, whatever color you are, your hair is going to be the darkest part of you. So you see how I'm starting to blend over. See how already we're starting to get a little bit of feeling of a fuller model, right? Definitely gonna need to work. Notice I had the hairline a little bit too low, so I'm actually covering that up in my, there we go. See how I was able, what I really love about paint is to me it feels very correctable. Because we'll work on this again next week if you guys want to. We can also go on to something else. Either another figure or drawing a figure. So it usually takes about 1 session to draw a figure and then 1 to 2 sessions to paint a figure. You know, I'm going over with white in some areas. Okay, at this stage, I probably need a smaller brush to get some of the more detailed work. But look at how much I've managed to get done. Just doing my soft hard edges thing. It's kind of pretty, isn't it?
Huh?
What was that?
That's a crow and that's lion talking to it.
Luke is losing his shit, eh? He's like, no.
It's probably bigger than you.
Yeah, that's starting to look. So see how I'm doing all these soft strokes. I'm still trying to maintain these lights and darks. So notice, you know, the colors are basically the same, just a little bit more burnt umber. Oh yeah, that looks great.
I'm wondering now if, I think that looks really good.
Yeah,
Now, when I'm trying to blend, I feel like I'm pulling paint off when I'm trying to blend. So my question is, are you piling the paint on the canvas
I am.
so that you have something to blend?
I have a little pile to push around. Yes, I am.
Okay, because I think I'm going too thin.
Right. Which has been a consistent problem, right? So that's
Right.
challenge. That's you noticing that. Good observation.
But I used to mix too little color and then I was all too thin there. But now if I can learn how to do that on the canvas, that might help.
Right? Yeah, it's a lot of paint on here. I've got a nice
Okay.
little pile. I'm definitely piling on the paint.
Because I like the way it, yeah, that kind of rough blending that's happening right now looks really good.
Yep. Oh yeah, Pat, you got it. You got it.
You got it?
Do the background.
Phew.
Do a darker color for the wall and a lighter color for the right? Darker for the wall and lighter color for the any color at all. Whatever
Yeah.
you
All right.
that's not exactly skin color. So maybe go back to your reds or something or your blue or something that you haven't.
Well, I'm not going to paint that one. I'm just going to do that in pencil, but I can either do the pencil or I can do the nude before.
You can work on the nude before and start and try some of this technique that you're learning with the
Okay.
colors that you've mixed, just more white.
Let me show you what I did during the week. See if I at least got better. Well, you won't remember. But.
Okay, send it over. Yes, you sent this to me. So if you'll notice, you've lost all your shadows. So your job would be to go back in and put your shadow colors in, and then put more light color and try to blend again.
Okay.
Nice. You put on the background, right? Sort of cleaned up the figure a little bit.
Say what?
You
Yeah, I'm
put
finished with the background.
and
Yeah.
cleaned up the figure a little bit. Good job. And I would use a smaller brush. So you might want to move to a smaller, I'm looking to see if I've got an example here. Something like this size, right? Compared to what I was using, which is this size.
Oh, okay.
A smaller brush, you have a little bit more control.
Okay.
And kind of go in here, right? So I can kind of come in here with more. See how I can come in and get a little bit more detail.
Right. All right, so I need a whole lot lighter canvas than that. Let's see.
And I'm able to go in more.
trying to be done with the skin ball.
You're almost done with the skin ball. Oh, you said it feels good to be done with the skin ball.
I'm trying to be done with it.
And then, you know, Joe, you can use this on, you can either continue drawing her and you can look at the last week's thread, or you can work on your last one, which you probably, you know, this also works for this one, right?
And I'm trying to decide if I want to go ahead and draw this one and then have 2 projects in the works.
Well, I think that's a good idea, actually. Oh yeah, you're done, dude. You're done. You got it. You
But
got
then,
it.
yeah,
You
I'm
got
happy with it.
it. Looks great.
I kept losing it.
One does lose it, right? It took about 2 hours, right, to get
Yeah.
there. Well, let's say an hour and a half. So then you've got a half an hour to try and decide what you want to do. Do you want to draw?
Yeah, I think I will.
I'll send over the sketch for you so you can see. Take a picture of this. This has all her heads marked, right?
Okay.
All of that stuff. And also there's a whole class on drawing her that was recorded from last week. So if you're struggling, struggle in the next half hour, you can start again on your own with the video. Because all we can spent drawing her. So I hope those of you who are beginning are not feeling like you're behind.
Ooh,
It's hard to get everybody kind of, I can't, you know, not everybody's at the same place. So I'm trying to give you sort of staged up and down exercises where you can do as you wish.
I really appreciated today's exercise because I really needed it.
Yeah, everybody
So
does.
even though I'm not painting what you're painting, I kind of got the idea of what I want to do with this lighter skinned one.
Right? Exactly. That's exactly right. And that's the thing. It's so hard. I noticed when we did our first one, I invented this after we did our first figure. And I could see how much people were struggling. And I was like, oh, we need an exercise where you can start to practice these ideas.
Well, it's so funny how you always do the same things, but until I'm ready to actually learn it, I don't notice.
Go in.
So this time I'm like, okay, now I see why she has all the different tones. That makes a whole lot of sense when you're trying to paint the picture. It just never occurred to me before. I
Right,
don't know
right. Because you weren't ready to see all that before.
why. Exactly.
That's right. And you'll get it when you get it, right? So yeah,
That's
so
me.
I'm just repeating the same thing over and over again. But remember, that's me knowing this for 20 years,
Right.
right? For you guys, you need to, you know, catch up in a way.
I had some paint in the freezer for about 3 weeks.
Did that work?
Well, it's pretty sticky. Do you
I
ever
read an
use that?
article about which ones you can freeze and which ones you can't.
This-
Really?
I don't know if I can use it or if you thin it out somehow or
And you need
I'm
to
I'll just
a
toss
little
it.
bit of this gunk or a little bit of your,
Galkin.
yeah, the gal kid.
Or I'll put it back in the freezer for 2 more weeks.
Or dump it and start again. You know, I never freeze paint. I'm always just like, I'd rather just mix it again. But, you know, I understand the desire to do it. We've done
This
all.
is pretty dried out. I'm gonna.
All right, we've got about half an hour left in class. So this is a good moment to decide what you want to do. It's a good moment to send me something if you want me to look at what you're doing. And then we'll talk at the end of this and decide what we want to do next week.
I'm gonna try to get the shades done before I leave the class so that I can work on it and have all the shades right.
Excellent. Love it.
Yeah, I've been spending time with my doggo, so, but I'm gonna send grandma.
Okay. Oops.
Your
Oh, oh, sorry.
I think I'm pretty well set for a plein air session. Finally got all the equipment I need.
Wouldn't that be neat? So
Yeah.
yeah, I will email out, and I'm sorry, I hate to talk to the rest of you who aren't here in Portland with that notion, but if you happen to be in Portland on August 21st, come and join us. We're gonna take you to one of the most beautiful areas in Portland, Sabi Island, and you can bring your paints, your pastels. It's not a class, it's not a workshop, it's just a get-together. There'll be picnic stuff. Oh yeah, that's coming along, Diana. Nice. Notice how Diana has built on that base that she put in. Very nice.
I haven't come very far though, but
But you started. Painted about 20 minutes. Maybe half an hour.
yeah, it's true.
Very nice. Great work, everybody. Yeah, so I love these classes because I feel like these are the classes where we can actually, Tosh, I know you sit through a lot of classes. Sandra, I know you do. Diana, you too. Don't you feel like we get more done in these classes a little bit?
Yeah.
I love
No,
it that
like
it's not rushed.
Yeah, I love these classes. This is my favorite Sundays.
Right, because we have the time, right? And we're not so
Yeah.
rushed. And we might do a project. The other classes are very project based, so you're gonna be rushed through a project. These classes are slower. We're project based, but we're also, I'm trying to design a curriculum where people can still jump in and out as they want. And I think it's, so in some ways we go deeper into technique. By the way, I'm thinking, I'm hoping if I can sign on at least one or two more clients starting in the fall, I mean corporate clients, I'm going to add another class to the curriculum. I'm going to have Emma teach a painting class of some kind. And maybe I might have Marie do an oil painting class too. So we'll see if we can get more clients in, then I will add more classes to the week. So lots more painting chances. And
I think Emma's gouache was pretty popular, right?
I think so. So
Yeah.
I just have her stick with gouache for a while because we don't have anybody else who does that. But I don't want to limit that. I'd like to give her, maybe she just sticks with water-based mediums and she can decide from month to month. But yeah, I think gouache would be fun for a while. It's definitely its own thing. I even picked up a set.
I love it.
Yeah, and I'm using it to kind of strengthen my watercolors. So in places where my watercolors get too dark and muddy, I'll use a little gouache on top to kind of lighten and brighten them, which I think is, and it really helps. Like it definitely is useful. So yeah, she's a cutie. Isn't she cute?
Yep.
So guys, let me show you my background. I'm going to take a photo. Hopefully it's very weird. I was very adventurous.
Ooh. Let me see.
Hold on. Need to find the right thread, which of course is not showing. Sunday.
Oh, that's great, Sandra.
Fantastic.
I love the background. Oh my God, leave it just like that. It's so much fun.
That's great.
So fun.
wish I could figure out how to do that. I don't
Well, I
understand.
figured it out because watching videos. In fact, what you do is you wet your paper and then you just drop in color. So
There
you
you
don't move, you just drop in color and they kind of joins each other as opposed to moving your brush around, which is how I ruined the giraffe.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's, you didn't use a brush at all on that?
Oh yeah, I used a big mop,
Oh.
but I drop in color opposed to doing a wash.
But the paper was wet when she laid the paper.
Oh, okay, okay.
You have to wet. I find that when I don't wet the paper, my background is disastrous like it was yesterday.
Charlotte's
I haven't
able to do that with her ink.
When you what?
My daughter, it works in ink, and she's able to do that real well.
Yeah, I find it, I mean, but with watercolor, with other things, I don't know. I don't think so, but with watercolor.
I think ink and watercolor must really work a lot alike.
I was so annoyed about how I'd ruined it, but I spent the whole afternoon yesterday first watching videos on how to rescue it and then how to do backgrounds. So,
You didn't work on the giraffe at all?
not yet, I'm about to. I just
You will fix it.
Don't fix
I'm
it.
giraffe now, and I wanted to try this method first, and because I'm gonna do that to the giraffe now.
Okay,
Well,
that's good.
at least drop a lot of yellow and
Yeah.
a different kind of green.
Yeah.
We'll fix it.
So fun. All right.
Aren't you impressed that this little Miss Sunshine hasn't barked once at us?
She must be exhausted from the class. Oh no, the class wasn't today, right?
That was yesterday.
I
I
was
say in the afternoon, she's much more subdued.
Yeah. Oh, now she starts
I
playing.
spoke to her.
That's her playing.
Oh, yes, her toy.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's so cute.
Somebody not getting enough attention?
Right? No, she's just playing, like she's a baby. Sunny's only 5 months.
Yeah, she's 5 months today.
And adopted her a month ago, so she's just this wild, crazy creature who loves playing madly. Not bad, Tosh. She's a little lighter under here. Can you see that? There's a little bit of a lighter bit over here. So this whole side is a touch lighter, but I like this, Tosh. It's a good beginning. I just want to see a little bit more blending happening. I love the darks that you've got here. I like what you're starting to do up here with the breast, very nice. So notice here, I can really see it in the black and white. She's kind of lighter down here in the rib cage, and although it then gets darker, it's never as dark as this side, right?
Okay.
Yeah, good job. So just keep nuancing and settling that up. What kind of brush are you using? Can you take a picture of that for me? It's a pretty good sized brush. I'm wondering if it would help you to have a slightly bigger brush. What do you think?
Like a smaller brush?
A bigger,
Yeah, okay.
slightly bigger. You want to try a slightly bigger flat and see if that helps you get a softer edge?
Yeah, let me see what I have.
Try it. I had a feeling you were, it's funny, now I can look at the brush mark and I can see how big the brush was. Without looking at the brush, I can tell.
Wow, okay.
As a comparison, your brush was about this big, and this is the brush that I used for the base, for these marks that were just made here. So a bigger brush might give you the softer edge that you need, possibly. The advantage of a bigger brush is it does sort of bigger swaths. The disadvantage, of course, is you have less control. You know, it's also true, we could totally move to something easier to paint. We did go from still lifes to figures. Not exactly like, I mean, that's pretty hard.
How are those colors?
Let's see. Not bad, a touch more. They look pretty good, actually. I need to see your dark, though. Let's see your dark. Make sure it's not.
Do I take the base and then just add a lot more blue?
Just add some blue. I
Okay.
still feel like your base is a little bit too yellow. So add a touch more red to the base as well.
Okay.
Add
Okay.
You shouldn't need to
I
add,
have been adding red. That makes sense because I've been adding red as I made the other tones.
right? Right?
Oh, what do we do?
By the way, apropos of nothing, has anybody seen Black Monday?
No.
It's absolutely sick. It's a sick show. And I mean sick, I mean everybody's mentally ill, but boy, is it funny.
I have not seen it.
It's a very dark comedy. Don Cheadle is amazing.
No,
He's always amazing.
totally is.
And that show is, and Regina Hall. Oh my God.
Shoot, I should have seen that.
Okay, I
Must
will
have
check
seen
it
that.
out.
It's definitely the kind of show where you're like, what? You have 3 seasons? You didn't completely flame out in one? Because everything's so awful. I wouldn't recommend it as a cheery, it's not cheerful at all. It's like, it highlights very dark comedic way how very awful our society, the awful parts of our society, but boy, is it funny.
What you doing?
Very clever. And I guess it wouldn't work without Don Cheadle and Regina Hall. They're both just so funny. Also, it's it's a very like stereotypical look at the 80s. Like everyone has shoulder pads and does a lot of coke. Like so much coke. So one of the things to note about this, and it's not really visible, totally clearly visible here, so I'm going to highlight it for you, is that when you're drawing this, we not only did the heads, but we did a plumb line. Okay. So where her, the middle of her face is, straight down, you can see kind of what's on this side and what's on this side of the line. See that? That is helpful.
That helps a lot.
Yeah, we found that to be very helpful. So let me send that across to you so you have it. But like I said, all of this is highlighted ad nauseum in the last lesson too. So if you're feeling like I'm still missing it.
My dog is killing her food bowl.
Not bad, Nina, but I'm still not seeing enough of a transition. Here, hold on a second. And now I'll look at yours, Pat. Here's this.
Yeah, I agree. It's drying way too fast. And even if I take all the water off the brush, it's just not working.
I think you just need more paint.
Okay,
So
I'll make
maybe
more
you
paint.
need to go back to, oops. I think you need to go back to these edges. Try just a swoop, right? Like a crescent. Like do that. And then maybe that, right? And focus on this and this. And then as you get more confident in this and this, then you can start to build out to an actual circle. Or make your circle smaller, like smaller than this. This is about the size of my hand. Maybe your circle needs to be half that size. And you need to use a smaller brush.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay.
Yeah, all things that you can do. But also, it's really a getting your hand ready. So
It's great practice. Yeah, I think it was Pat who said, like, even though we did this before, it's great to keep doing it.
It's great to keep doing it. I'll probably have you guys do some variation of this always, right? Before class, and it might just take over and become the lesson, or yeah. Well, because you're all at different levels. So Diana, are you seeing the issue that she's having?
My dog is killing her food bowl, so I turned myself on mute.
Oh, got it.
I need urgent advice on the giraffe.
Okay.
Up as a photo now.
Okay.
Leah, is my dark too green?
Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me. It needs a little more blue and a little bit more red.
Okay. That is so cute, Sandra. Love
It worked?
I think it looks lovely. I think stop where you're ahead, Sandra. Stop.
Okay, good. It's better than it was last time anyway.
That's lovely. It's lovely. Oh, and I feel like the dark, and I like how you have that dark under the chin of the youngest.
Oh, good, because I thought maybe I'd gone too dark with this too dark.
Look at how that highlights it. See how it kind of directs you to look at it? It's
white.
It's wonderful. I love
Okay, good. I'm going to leave it alone.
Yes,
Thank you. I'm glad I rescued it. It looks much better.
You rescued it. You saved it. It's wonderful.
Oof.
One of these days soon, Sandra, I'm going to feature you on the newsletter of the week, although Olga posted such a nice piece on Facebook last week that I have to grab it.
Yes, that was very nice. Yeah, I liked Olga.
Can I share what Olga just did?
Yeah, sure. Olga just did that?
Yep.
In what? In
it's digital on the iPad.
Oh my God, look at that.
That's fantastic.
That's great.
Wow.
That's great. Wow. Wow.
She started to work in digital art.
I can see that's working for her.
Yeah.
I can see that's working for her because she can erase things easily that she doesn't like, I bet.
Yeah.
Easier than working with the materials. That's wonderful. Good
Isn't
stuff.
it?
Yeah, maybe I'll grab that as well. I like that. That's a great piece. Thank you for sending that.
She can teach digital art.
But recently, I'd love to learn. At first, I want to master watercolor. Maybe that will take me lifelong. Oh, that was a great session. I'm glad I finished these two animals without.
I'm glad you did too. All right, everybody. Last bits coming in now. Is Marion still with us, or did she come back? Or I don't know if you
The
can.
giraffe. Oh, sorry.
I'm here.
So,
I'm just watching. I'm just watching at this point.
so Marion, how did that feel? Like jumping in like that?
It was okay.
Yeah. This
It was
is
okay. Yes.
the hardest class. In all other classes, as I said, you will be walked through a project, finishes at the end of each class. Each class is self-contained.
Mm.
This particular class is not that way because we're doing more skill building and trying to get more deeply into stuff. So other things should be a little bit more straightforward in terms of their getting. So do you have the Art at Work portal, which has the schedule and the supply list and the Zoom link and all that stuff?
I think Nina shared that with me.
Awesome. Good job, Nina.
I think Marion would really enjoy the classes. It's just finding the time, I think.
Yeah, it's just finding the time, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Joe, this is looking pretty good. So this leg is a little bit thicker on the right. Joe, on our right. Otherwise, that looks pretty good. Let's see where Tasha is on this. Sorry.
Okay.
I accidentally. Oh, Tosh, yes. Did it help to go to a bigger brush?
Yes, and I was really surprised.
Yep.
That
Yep.
what you mean.
Smaller brush was leaving too many marks. That's why. As you can't get those big sweeping changes. All right, so maybe we'll work on this another week. So those of you who want to try drawing this, we'll do it. Those of you who want to jump in, we'll do another. I can also set up another painting exercise that you can work on while we're working on this.
Yeah, I think my biggest challenge is still mixing. So
Yeah, mixing and blending. So, or you guys, we could do something different next week. So does anybody have thoughts about that? Like what you'd like? I mean, any thoughts on, I don't know, what you'd like to try to paint? I guess, would you like to spend another week on this project?
Yeah.
I would personally,
Okay, all right, great.
but I can always work on that with some other things that are happening too.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to spend one more week working on this, and then we're going to make a decision. Are we going to stay with figure, or are we going to move to something else? Okay, so we'll talk about what that something else could be, and all kind of decide as it. All right, you guys.
Wait, Diana, what were you going to say about the giraffe? Ah, we've got the dragon in the palette.
Oh yeah,
I love how you saved it.
you
Oh,
did
good. It's
save it.
not perfect, but it works much better. Now I know how to do backgrounds.
Great.
I think it looks much better. I'm much happier with it.
Yeah, it looks much, much better. The only part that I would, if I would touch anything,
Right?
would be under the shin of the baby giraffe, that it's like a dark blotch there.
Yeah, but that's the part that Leah liked. I also think it's a bit dark, but
Oh, it's dark. I think I'm okay. I agree with Diana on that nuance though. I think that's
but it's too dark.
a little bit too dark.
And the top, the right-hand side, the top right-hand side is not too dark.
No, that doesn't disturb me as much.
No,
Okay, I'll try to fix it. I'll
yeah,
wait till it dries.
That's the only thing. Otherwise, I think it's beautiful.
yeah. I think it came out really well. I do.
Thank you. Well, it's much better than it was, so I'm happy. Thank you.
All right, everybody. So just a reminder, here I'm going to stop the